Falinks just recently got released in Pokemon Go, so today we're going to be trying it out in Great League to see if it's good in PvP. Just on first sight, the moveset is quite interesting. It's rocking Counter, Superpower, and Mega Horn, which is a good, well, decent moveset. You know, Counter and Superpower will be your main damage dealing moves. We all know Counter, one of the strongest, if not the strongest move in the game, and then Superpower is an extremely strong fighting type charge move that's also quite cheap. It only takes 6 counters to get to it and does a bunch of damage, though it does drop your attack and defense by a stage. But if you can play around that, it can definitely do some work. Then Mega Horn as a coverage move, kind of disappointing to be honest. Bug is a very weak offensive typing. You know, it gets resisted by so much, especially like the flying types, the poison types, the fairy types, which is, you know, generally the stuff that Falinks loses to. It just doesn't have much coverage against those. But you can hit psychic types really hard with Mega Horn. Now, the stats of this thing, also quite okay. You know, it's slightly bulkier than Machamp. It's around Hitmonchan bulk. So it's fine. We see it coming out right now. Look at this animation. It's pretty cool. Opponent very smartly goes for a Blizzard. And it doesn't even take me out, which is great. It's a smart move to go for the Blizzard right away by my opponent there, because I wasn't going to shoot the first one because he does the buff. Look at this attack animation, by the way. I love how at the end of the charge attack, it will like jump out into its like split up form. I really do enjoy the design of this Pokemon. Alright, Niantic just cleans up this Altaria and that's a good game. Leading Falinks into the Deoxys in a different team than the last battle. Tried out 2 different teams with Falinks, by the way. This is not great, but I can throw super effective Mega Horns here. Does it go through? It does go through, and does a bunch of damage, but honestly, kind of disappointing amount for such a hard-hitting move. And I do have to shoot with the Psycho Boost because it would one-shot me. He's close to another one, so I'm going to catch it on my Lickitung, which I do get. Also, you might notice, Great League, Go Battle League is not around. How am I doing these battles? Well, all these battles were done versus members of my Discord. So thanks everyone that battled against me yesterday. Really helped out trying a Falinks. All battles were really fun, so thanks a lot. And also, by the way, if you're not a member of the Discord yet, the link is in the description. We have dedicated channels to like discussion about PvP, and also a dedicated battle channel, which is currently pretty active. You know, a lot of members of the Discord are there doing practice battles all the time, and myself also do some battles there occasionally. So yeah, join up if you're not in there already. Anyway, Lickitung into Umbreon is not great, but if I can farm this down with Falinks later, that'd be quite nice. Though, if this is a Psychic Umbreon, it will definitely kill my Falinks. So that would not be great. Hopefully it's just a last resort one, though. I think a lot of Umbreon are still running last resort. Just gonna let this Foul Play go through. They get a little bit of extra farm, though, because it didn't KO, which is not great. They get to the move here, which is either a last resort or a Psychic. Hopefully it's a last resort. It is a last resort. Still is a decent chunk though. They bring in Azu, and this is where Superpower does come in kind of handy, because Superpower is a really strong move, so even resisted versus Azumarill, like this is a decent chunk. That's way more than like a Cross Chop would do, for example, and it's only 5 energy more. Now we have Skarmory versus Azu, and now that we're in this boring matchup, I can explain a little bit more about Falinks, how I would personally run it, and how you see me run it in these games. Is I think it's best in the lead or in the back. And if you run it in the lead, it's very nice because you can Superpower and then dip into something. So if you run it in the lead, you want 2 like very flexible options in the back, so you can like swap out after you've thrown a move. And if you have it in the back, you just want to get shields down and then try to like double Superpower or Mega Horn, whatever's in the back. Either way, you really want to play around those debuffs. Alright, he switches into Umbreon, trying to catch. I was expecting that, so I go into Falinks to farm down the Umbreon. And now, what comes back in? Still the Deoxys as well, which is very low. Here comes the Azu. If this Superpower KOs, I think I win the game. If it doesn't, they're just gonna bubble down my Skarm. It does KO. Timer comes up. Deoxys comes in. Go for the Sky Attack, and it is a great game right there. Falinks actually put in a lot of work there. Very nice. Alright, bad lead. Here, I might just try to Superpower and then dip. Just do a little bit of damage. And then go into Lickitung. This is the way I like to play Pokemon with debuff moves, because it's very likely I'm gonna lose switch advantage anyway. Rather get off a huge chunk of, or huge, it's not a huge chunk of damage, but for Falinks versus Azu, it is a good chunk of damage. And then dip, clear my debuff, bring in the Lickitung versus Azu. Do they even have a counter to it in the back? If I threw my Power Whip straight away there, I would have been actually in a good spot, because either that Azu would be almost dead, or I would have gotten a shield. Instead, they bring in their Abomasnow, though I think trying to catch a Power Whip, trying to time it right, which, well, didn't work out for them, but at least I didn't get off my Power Whip versus Azu. This Body Slam also won't KO the Aboma, but it will bring him very, very low. Maybe I can farm it down with Falinks as well. Simultaneous KO though. I'm not expecting them to bring in Azu again. I'm expecting them to expect me to bring in something good against Azu. So I'm just gonna go in Falinks. And they're bringing in their Sableye. This is not a very Falinks friendly team, alright? That is unfortunate. It's gonna go straight for the Mega Horn. Honestly, arguably, I should have gone Superpower, but I didn't want to debuff. Really didn't want to debuff myself. And I think at this point, look at how much these counters are doing. It's honestly kind of crazy. Also overfarmed here, not smart. I thought I needed one more Shadow Claw and I was gonna CMP die with them. But no. Now I also saved this move, which honestly, maybe I should have superpowered. But I think I want to save this for the back when shields are down. But arguably, I could have just thrown it. Here comes Azu. I'll go for the Sky Attack. It's not looking great, but if they don't get to the Hydro, might be able to do this. Especially if I can farm this down. Like, let's say the Hydro here, like I die, and I farm it down with Falinks. Might be okay to go for the Ice Beam though. It's gonna be very scary, especially since I still have Sableye. I'm gonna go for this Sky Attack right here. Sableye also has some energy. They let it go though, which is interesting. But I think I would have farmed it down anyway before they got to another move. Go for the counter down, and we barely get it, and that's a great game right there. Falinks into Nidoqueen is very, very bad. I bring in my Lickitung, in comes Machamp, very, very bad as well. But a Body Slam does a good chunk versus Machamp, so maybe they will be inclined to shield this. Hopefully, honestly, I think Power Whip does slightly more, so I should have gone for it, because I'm not gonna get the 2 Body Slams anyway. They shoot it up though, which is great. I could bring in Skarm here, but since my Falinks is basically useless against the Nidoqueen, I'll just bring it in, use it as a sack. I was really hoping I could farm down, but this counter damage, honestly, kind of disappointing. But it can also tank the counters just fine. I gotta throw Superpower, unfortunately, but that's fine. I will switch out of here straight away. I want to keep my Falinks alive, just in case the Nidoqueen debuffs my Skarmory's defense. I want to be able to clear that later. That's one thing you have to keep in mind every single time when you're playing Nidoqueen or Bubble Beamer, like a different debuffing Pokemon. You always want to try to keep a Pokemon alive in a pack, even if it's just with 1 HP, because you want to be able to clear that debuff if they do give it to you. Just gonna no-shield this. I don't really need to shield any Poison Fangs at this point. My only hope is if they have another Skarmory weak Pokemon in the back, and it is a Drapion, which is pretty good. That is pretty good. Get to this move really quick. I think that's Aqua Tail, but it's Crunch. It's insane. Yeah, I guess there's Crunch is really fast. I think it's 9 energy per Poison Sting. So for Crunch, which is 45 energy, it's only 5 Poison Stings, which is pretty ridiculous. It's only 10 turns. And Aqua Tail is even faster. They're almost dead though. I'm gonna farm this down with Falinks. And then we'll farm down a Nidoqueen as well. And that is a great game right there. Bastiodon lead. That is amazing. Also still have Falinks in the back for it. And I bring in the Lickitung. I could consider going Falinks right now as well. But I know that Nidoqueen wins switch advantage here anyway. So I'd rather have my Falinks aligned to the Bastiodon then, because that would be pretty sick. They no-shoot the second one as well, which is kind of interesting. I'm kind of expecting to go for Earthquake, to be honest, because I don't think they reach 2 Body Slams, so I'm gonna shoot it up. It's a Shadow Ball, which would have KO'd me, so I'm very glad I shooted it up. Still have 2 shields. What will they bring in? It's a Medicham. And their line was just very weak against Nidoqueen, that is for sure. Gonna go for 1 Poison Fang right here. Get shooted up. They expected the Earth Power, maybe. Gonna go for another one. At this point, I don't really care. I'm gonna have Sableye for the Medicham. I have Falinks for the Bastiodon, so this is looking quite good. Hopefully, we can get some Falinks action in here, though. I want to see how much those counters do to Bastiodon, and also kind of want to see how much Flamethrower does to it. So I'm just gonna try to farm this down right here. Oh man, look at this animation. I really like this counter animation, to be honest. Though I wish a flamethrower coming through, by the way. Let's see how much it does. Oh, tanks it quite nicely. I really wish it would do the split up animation more often. I like this line. This line is cool, but I really love it when it like splits up into, you know, like a V shape. I like this. But it's so short. It's so short. All right, I baited them with the superpower. Now we're gonna Mega Horn. Does this even KO now because I am debuffed by one stage? It doesn't. But maybe we can farm it down. We lag a little bit, but I do simultaneous KO, and it's a great game. Obstagoon lead into my Nidoqueen. This is pretty damn good. In comes Gengar. This is really good. Though if I get to the Shadow Ball, which they are at right now, because it is 7 Shadow Claws, I will have to shoot it up because that won't one-shot. This point, let's farm it down though. Obstagoon is not great. 4 Sableye, of course. But since I have returned, it will do massive damage. And I have 2 really good counters. 2 Obstagoon in the back in Falinks, of course, but also Nidoqueen is damn good. At this point though, since I had Obstagoon, Gengar, kind of expecting a Haunter in the back. And Haunter is actually really bad for both Nidoqueen and Falinks. So, not in the best of spots. So I'm actually gonna save my Sableye with a little bit of HP for the Haunter. Because if I can debuff this, the Shadow Claws will do so much. Even though I'm in the red, like, if I get like 3 Poison Fangs off here, like 1 Shadow Claw is gonna do like 50% of its health. Let's be real. Haunter is already incredibly squishy, and I'm just dropping his defense even more. Gonna go for another Poison Fang. And after that, I'll just let my Nidoqueen go. But, you know, you gotta remember, this is a Falinks showcase. So, I'm gonna bring it in. These are triple resisted counters. These are triple resisted counters, alright? Look at how much damage they are doing. It's honestly pretty ridiculous. Great game, great game. Really good lead for Falinks versus Scraf, the Ikram Sableye as well. I have a Lickitung for it, which is a really good matchup for a Lickitung. Well, is it really good? It is good. It is good. But if you go straight Power Whip, I think you actually lose certain Shield Snarls. I think the 2s maybe. If they shoot them both up. So that's not great. But still, I'm gonna go for it. Like, I have 2 answers for Scrafty in Skarm and Falinks. So as long as I get this Sableye into farm range for either one of those, I'm very fine. I'm very, very fine. Because that Scrafty's got nowhere to go. Though, the matchup versus Skarm is actually kind of even, but if I can get both shields down, kind of fine with it. I've seen be tied with this foul play, which is it's a misplay, because you always want to farm up as much as possible, especially since the foul smash is doing no damage, but they shoot it up, so I'm fine with that. I think I get to the boss sim here, just one KO, but instead I'm gonna save shields for Skarm and Falinks. I wanna farm this Sableye down, get a bunch of energy on this thing. I have no clue what they have in the back. Hopefully it's not bad for Falinks and Skarm. Farm it down, I have a lot of energy. In comes the Marowak though. This is the worst matchup for Falinks. And this is where you see that like Mega Horn just really isn't that great of a coverage move. It just really isn't. It just doesn't hit like ghost types at all with the Mega Horn, because it is resisted. Especially Marowak is just double resisted. Gonna go for the Brave Bird right here. KO this Marowak. In comes a Scrafty. And they have to throw a move, or I KO them with the Sky Attack. Yeah, they throw the foul play, and this is great. Now we're gonna see how much the superpower does from a Falinks on a Scrafty. I think it KOs. What do you think? What do you think? Go for the superpower. I mean, Scrafty is kind of bulky. It is kind of bulky. Does KO, and that's it. That was the final battle as well. Final thoughts on Falinks. It is, you know, fighter. It's a counter user with superpower. It will always be good, alright? Just like I'm a champ, if you just run cross shop, is still reasonable. Counter users, I think we'll always see play. I do think it does fall a bit short compared to like I'm a champ or something. I think Rock Slide is way better coverage move, but it's a fun Pokemon. It's a fun Pokemon, and it might see some play in like a limited meta if there's like a lot of psychic types you'd wanna Mega Horn or something, and for some reason Machamp is banned. I don't know. But yeah, it is definitely fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. See you later.